Hello and welcome to Insurance Mantra, your weekly guide to the world of insurance, only on etnow. In today's Leadership Insight, we talk about the big issue in India's general insurance industry: low insurance penetration, rising claims, fraud risk, and growing climate-related losses. We will also discuss how digital platform, technology, and artificial intelligence helping make insurance simpler, more transparent, and easier for customers. To share her views on these changes and future of general insurance in India, I am joined by a very special guest, Shanai Ghosh, Managing Director and CEO of Juno General Insurance. Shanai ma'am, welcome to Insurance Mantra.
Thank you, Anurag.
Ma'am, my first question, when we talk about insurance penetration in India, it's much below global average. So according to you, what are the barriers still people are not finding insurance as a necessity?
First of all, I would say our penetration hasn't grown as much as it should have, right? Penetration alone is not an adequate measure of, insurance coverage. So if I was to tell you headline, I think our financial literacy has not grown as fast as our GDP.
Okay.
So the economy has grown, people's incomes have grown, general affluence has grown, but financial literacy has not grown as much. Financial literacy is not to be confused with savings habit. Financial literacy, a very important part of financial literacy is risk management. So that's the headline. Now what's happened is that if you look at cultural barriers, I would talk about cultural barriers first in India. We do not believe in active risk management, okay? Anything that doesn't give us an immediate return is seen as an expense.
Yes.
We don't look at it as an investment. And from a risk management perspective, we've always relied on, traditional things like, our assets, our savings,
Gold, silver, land.
Gold, land, friends, family, all these informal ways of, informal ways of giving you that financial security when you need it. But these informal ways are no longer valid. And that is something that has not been realized by the Indian population at large. And I think this is the fundamental barrier. While there are many other things that we can improve, product design, access, affordability, it's not to say that we've done everything that we had to on those. We can do, but fundamentally, I think, in my opinion, what is stopping...
so it will change, or it's changing, it's difficult to change with a lot of awareness and changing society?
Changing cultural orientation, mindset, behavior is difficult, not impossible. It can happen over time, but it's not something that can happen with a snap of finger. We have launched our Achha Kiya Insurance Liya awareness campaign, but we are mindful that it's a long journey for us. 1 year will not transform the way people look at insurance. Secondly, my view again is that in such a scenario where people are culturally and behaviorally not inclined to invest in risk management and see it as an expense, some level of external mandate helps. So if you look at large countries like, say, US, it has one of the highest penetrations for insurance in the world, right? And there, almost every house is insured. And that's because it starts with a mandate. There is a mandate to insure. SMEs, in India, 85% of SMEs don't have insurance. They see insurance as an expense. They see it as discretionary, that, okay, optional. Okay. I can decide not to do it. But in the US, they don't see, because the law doesn't allow them to see. At the very basic, I think they need to have liability and workman's compensation.
And do you think that affordability is also an issue in India, that insurance is not that much affordable, so public at large cannot afford it?
I don't think so. In fact, our if I was to talk about motor insurance, our rates in India are one of the lowest in the world. Okay. The rates across the world are much, much higher. The margins in India are one of the lowest. So if you look at the kind of discretionary purchase that is happening in India, the kind of consumption that is happening in India, I don't think
affordable... So you mean to say that insurance companies are also not making much money?
the data is there for you to see. You can study it. Yes, of course, we are not making much money. Our cores are much higher. Worldwide combined operating ratios are below 100%, but here we operate at above 100% mostly. And loss ratios are much lower worldwide. So I would say that it's not that affordability is not a problem. I wouldn't say affordability is not a problem. I would say it's not a blocker.
Okay.
There are enough people who can afford but are not buying.
They need some sort of push or nudge.
Yeah. So very often, I don't know if you've experienced it, I sure have. There is health insurance, for instance. Health insurance, only when there's an urgency, suddenly people realize that you should have. I've had people come to me and said, I didn't have health insurance, but I had a heart attack last year, so I want to buy now. So you shouldn't buy insurance when you need it. You should have insurance when you don't need it, so that when you really need it, you have it with you, right? Okay. So insurance is one of those things that you should buy ahead of time. So unfortunately, until the exigency happens, we don't realize the value of it. Insurance is unfortunately in that category. But to change this behavior, I feel if there's an outside push, a nudge, over time it becomes a habit and people start seeing benefits. I'll give you the example of car insurance. And I'm not talking about two-wheeler insurance or commercial vehicles. Private car. Anyone who has a car, let's take a quick poll in Mumbai. Anyone who has a car, I would wager that 85 to 90% of them drive with car insurance.
Without?
With,
yeah, yes.
Right? Nobody drives their car without car insurance. Now, third-party liability was mandated. It wasn't easily understood that OD is not mandated. People thought that entire thing is mandated. So they started buying. But over time, they realized that, yes, accidents happen. I will have to pay out of my pocket that 30, 40, 50,000 car insurance is paying. So now people are buying TP because it's mandated, because it doesn't really
TP
benefit.
Rates are not changed in last 4 years.
Yes, that's another topic. But OD is not mandated, people know it, but they are buying it because it started with the perception of being mandated. Over time, they realized it's useful.
Normal policyholder think that, okay, there's some mandatory, they don't differentiate between
but
TP.
But now if you're given a choice, we did research, but no one would want to drive a car without OD.
Agree.
Yes. If they could, they would drive it without TP, but not without OD.
Without OD, yes.
Right? So this is an example of how a mandate or a perceived mandate became a habit and has become something that the customers want to buy, and it's become, a product that they want to buy. So like this, I'm hoping that if we mandate, like for instance, every person who owns a house, every shopkeeper should have a property insurance. We can create products, of course. Like I said, it's not to say that affordability, access and product design are not concerns. We have to work on that also. But that is something the industry can address, and it is addressing.
Ma'am, now I'll move to our rapid fire segment, and you have to answer spontaneously. So my first question is regulation in Indian insurance too tight or still not strong enough?
I think it's a good balance of flexibility and control.
Are insurers doing enough to customer transparency, or should the regulator push need harder?
I don't think regulatory push is required. Insurance are doing enough. What is enough? I think we can always do more, but I don't think we need regulatory push. We are self-aware.
Are high commissions still distorting how insurance products are sold?
In some segments, yes.
Is mis-selling an uncomfortable truth the industry still avoid discussing openly?
No, actually we are very, very conscious of it, but what you say, mis-selling is again in different pockets. Mis-selling affects a certain segment of policies, while in some non-life insurance, mis-selling is not the problem.
Are fraudulent claims pushing premium higher for honest policyholders?
Absolutely.
Has the digital insurance to truly improve transparency or just change the distribution channel?
I think digital insurance, or rather the internet, I would say, has put a lot of power in the hands of the consumer. So more than people who buy online, the people who discover and research online are a lot more. So I would definitely say it's improved transparency.
Customer trust in general insurance improving or still fragile?
I think it's improving.
Improving. Health or motor insurance dominating too much while other segments remain underdeveloped?
Yes.
One uncomfortable truth about general insurance industry rarely talked about.
Why we are still not making underwriting profits?
One reform the regulator wants but industry resists quietly.
I don't think there's any reform that the regulator wants that the industry resists.
If you had one wish IRDA would immediately consider, what would it be?
Honestly, I think the biggest wish that the industry had was considered 3 years ago, which is product liberalization. I think that was a big roadblocker for us in a lot of areas. And again, the regulator has said India's implementation will happen. So that's also another wish list. I would just hope 2 more things. RBC also comes out soon enough in a form and format that is not disruptive for the industry. And the last one is, I think, whatever we do in terms of expenses of management structure, I think it should reflect the cost efficiency that comes with scale. Because then I think a lot of the distortions in the market can be addressed.
You have so many wish lists, ma'am.
No, 2 are already granted.
2 are already, okay.
2 are
2 more.
already granted.
Yes,
I have 2 more.
So, ma'am, my final question to ma'am, what would be your insurance mantra to our viewers?
To our viewers?
They might be your policy holders also. You never know.
Well, I would say that insurance is an investment in your savings. Because, you know, when you look at insurance premium, you think of that premium as an expense. Think of it as a protection for your savings. Because if something goes wrong, and things do go wrong in life, that hit will come to your savings. It is a small price to pay. Just divide that premium by day, and I assure you spend much more than that on many trivial things every day. So I would strongly urge them to see how much value insurance could add to them if something goes wrong and how much of the savings it could protect.
Thank you so much, Shanai ma'am, for joining our insurance mantra. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Anurag.
So, time for a short break now. After the break, I'll be joined by Babu Paul, former Executive Director of National Insurance Company. Stay tuned.
The Amrita MBA. The Amrita MBA